I'm currently at page 243 of The Lion Woman of Tehran. I'm almost done, currently like at this point in the story. I'm really enjoying it so far. I think it's like one of the best books I've read in like a really long while. I'm for sure gonna do like a more in-depth conversation about this book when I'm finished, but for the moment I'm in love with it. I'm very in a homebody mood these last days. Like at some points I really don't leave the house for days on end, except for the occasional walk here and there outside. And I love days like this, but at the same time it's kind of like a realization as well of maybe I should get out of the house and do stuff more. However, it's kind of hard because I'm in like a new country, a new city. I live in a really small town now, like 15,000 people in this town, I think, which I know may not sound small for some people, but for me it's very small. And I know nobody here except for my family, and I don't even speak the language yet, so it's kind of hard for me to get out of my shell. I feel a bit intimidated by that. I am a very introverted person and I love days at home, so I'm not really complaining, but at the same time I kind of think I have to make a small change. So I'm gonna do some journaling and think of some ideas to get out of the house more. But for the moment, having a blast. Also, I recently ordered this sudoku book by post and I've just received it. I saw it on TikTok last week and I thought it was so cute. It's like really minimalist, and I think it's like separated into 3 parts. It starts with easy puzzles and I think they get like progressively harder. I haven't played sudoku in a really long while, and if I remember correctly, I'm not the best at it at all. However, I do remember that I really enjoyed playing it nonetheless, so I'm kind of excited to get back into it. On another note, I was reading Crying in Mart. I started it like a while back, and though I really liked the book at the beginning, the writing I think is really good. At one point, I kind of got to like the midpoint of the book. I kind of felt like a growing feeling of alienation between me and the book, which obviously is a memoir, not every reader is gonna like resonate. However, I don't think it was that, because I really resonated with the writing and the storytelling. I think it was mostly that the themes of sickness and death are really prominent themes in this book, and I kind of was feeling, the more I read it, my energy and my mood kind of like got like progressively worse. The conversation of sickness and death was very vivid and detailed, which is a testament to Michel Zauner's writing. However, it kind of made me depressed a bit, so I made the conscious decision of taking a break from it. However, if you do like memoirs that center around familial relations, you might like this one, and who knows, maybe I'll pick it up another day to finish it. But yeah. I recently finished Boots on Netflix. If you haven't heard of it, it's like a new show that dropped on Netflix, I think last week or earlier this month, about a gay boy in the 1990s that joins the American Navy. And it primarily focuses around his experiences in boot camp and the American Navy's treatment of homosexuality during that era. It's set during a time when being gay in the military was a criminal offense punishable by discharge and even imprisonment, I think. And even though it eventually became legal for queer people to join and serve in the military, it still operated in like a very clear don't ask, don't tell directive, which basically prohibited them from being openly queer or talking about their queerness in the military setting. And that policy was only overthrown in 2011, which is very recently. Something else that I found really interesting that the show portrayed was the imposition of conformity and uniformity. We see how the military treats their recruits at that time and how they like basically shave out their heads and make them like wear the same uniform and verbally and physically abuse them, basically attempts to erase their individuality and submit them to obedience. But through all of that violence, the show is mostly about friendship and identity, and overall I really enjoyed it. However, I might be in the minority here, but I kind of sensed like reverential tone throughout the series that kind of made me see the show as like basically an attempt for a recruitment ad. I might be completely wrong, but I feel like they kind of like glamorized and romanticized the experience of joining the American military in order to maybe like entice modern viewers to do so. Yeah, but apart from that, honestly, I really enjoyed the show and I do think that it's worth watching. I was currently reading my book, The Lion Women of Tehran, and at one point in the book, the main character talks about this traditional Iranian salad that she likes to make. It's made up of chopped cucumbers, tomatoes, red onion, and she puts like squeezed lemon, olive oil, and mint in it. And reading that kind of inspired me to make a similar recipe. I had like most of the ingredients, not all of them though. I only have like one red onion, so hopefully that's enough. I'm gonna try my best to make a similar recipe. I'm gonna be washing and chopping all of these, and as I'm doing that, I've been watching like a 40-minute long interview. It's with Luca Guadagnino for, I think the channel is called Combini on YouTube, and they have like this sort of series, I think, of like a video club, and it's kind of like the Criterion Closet interviews where like people just talk about their favorite movies, and I'm like a third of the way through it right now, and I'm really enjoying it. If you didn't know, he's a really famous director. He made Call Me By Your Name, which is like my favorite movie of all times. However, I didn't know much about him, and recently I've been kind of like in a rabbit hole of listening to his interviews, and I've become really fascinated by him. I think he's so interesting. And so yeah, I'm gonna be cooking, finishing up this interview, and hopefully it's gonna be good.
That I didn't enjoy. Now that I see the movie, I think, oh, we did a good job there. But I didn't like doing that.